trying to develop this for an audience that does not exist.
Yeah, but they're not going to buy the product. You have to stop listening to these people because they don't care.
I don't want her ever to use her femaleness to get something. So, in other words, they didn't want her to be that attractive. Renegade Online. But going back to this, so Humberly Gonzalez, the actress who plays Kay Vest, to be a leading woman, not just in Star Wars, just share it backstage for me, and I'll pull it up in a minute. In the video game industry, which also tends to have a lot of limitations, okay, leading woman, not just in Star Wars story, but in the video game industry, has a lot of limitations and misogyny and kind of in and out politics, which can be part of it, and who you want to play as. I don't really know what a lot of that means, but there we go. I'm incredibly proud of the team. So right off the bat, again, remember, this is an article that I don't know who this article is really directed at, because this is not the kind of article I think that's going to engage gamers, the average gamer audience out there, and get them excited. We haven't even talked about the damn game yet. We've got two women talking about what it's like to be women and in Star Wars and being women in the video game industry. And it's like, okay, you're trying to sell a video game here. What about the game? And it's, again, none of this should matter, right? But we go right into the Star Wars has never been a place for women, and it's never been a place for, you know, and it's like, oh my God, here we go, the same song and dance over and over again. And you can't tell me yet if you're actually making a good game that people want to buy. I don't know what I think, honestly, the misogyny and the anti-woman aspect of this game is that they took this individual on the left. That is Miss Gonzalez. That is Humberly Gonzalez on the left. She is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous.
Beautiful.
They turned her into that thing on the right. Now, again, look, it's no guarantee they're using you and they're going to make exactly you in a video game. But, like, they deliberately, again, this is part of this, they deliberately love, especially a lot of these left-wing women in Hollywood, they seem to hate or be very jealous of beautiful women.
Oh, easily, yeah.
So then they need to uglify them like this. There was no reason. Why couldn't Kay Vest look like that?
It also falls into the color palettes they keep using in their shows and their games. This very matted color that takes away the beauty of their skin tone. And
it's the orange, the orange and teal.
It's Clayface. It's Clayface. It looks like Clayface.
They're obsessed with orange.
They are. Like, well, the Orange Man bad. Like, come on.
But I mean, this is what we've been treated to. Why not leave her looking like this? Why change her? Just leave her as an attractive. So what? She's a scoundrel. Like, oh, you know. And they even in some of the marketing pieces for this, they point out the fact that Kay Vest, this is why her nose is all crooked, is she's got a broken nose and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, well, I got news for you. Again, most of the people that play video games are guys. Most guys either want to play a video game as like a cool male hero in the game, or if it's going to be a female, have a good story, and it really helps if she's attractive. Whether you think that is, you know, ridiculous or not, it doesn't matter. This is about what sells.
If I have to stare at a butt for 8 hours to 24 hours of a playthrough, it better be a nice one, because I don't want to walk around looking at Gorlocks while trying to save the universe. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You're right. You're right. Look at
if my takes up 40% of the screen, I'm refunding.
You are more than happy to watch Eve's backside in Stellar Blade for 100 hours of gameplay, right? It's fine. Not that that's why it's a fun game. It really is a good game. But you've got to put some type of eye candy on the screen. And I don't mean that necessarily in a sexual way. You've got to put something engaging and interesting visually to keep people sitting there for all these hours. And if your game is broken like this one is, and the game mechanics itself are very dull, and the main character, frankly, is ugly,
right?
You've got to try like, failure. Yeah,
right. And the thing about it is they have the ability to do that. I'm sharing something with you right now. This is Cal Kestis. If you want to bring this up, VR.
A perfect example. Yeah.
Look at that. That's like almost a one-to-one recreation of Cameron Monaghan. He looks exactly the same as Cal Kestis. So if they can do Cal Kestis, why can't they do Humberly Gonzalez? She's an attractive woman. Why bother bringing an attractive woman on if you're not going to make the character attractive? I don't understand it. Okay,
and
I just don't understand it.
Having seen other pictures of her, I can tell you as the body model, Miss Gonzalez's body looks a fair bit more attractive than what they did to Kay Vess in the game. So it's like they used her from a mechanical standpoint in one of those body suits with the sensors and everything, had her do all the motion capture, and then went in and deliberately flattened her chest, flattened her ass, uglied up her face.
Yeah,
it's like she's okay.
It's ridiculous.
Is she meant to be? Is she meant to be a zombie? And if so, why? Why do that? And again, what's the point of this?
We were kind of mean right now. Sans makes a great point. Women as well also want attractive characters. We seem to forget this. Women would like to have an attractive female or a handsome looking man that they're playing as in general, because it's on both sides. Because like I said, no one wants to play as Gorlock unless it's Fat Princess. But even Fat Princess had some type of redeeming quality. Gorlock does not. I'm sorry, I'm misogynistic. I will go back to my corner.
No, it's just you're right. People in a game like this, when there's it's one thing. It's like, okay, you're playing a horror game or something like this, and you're going to be playing a character, that is the character that's ugly or unattractive or something, and I don't know, but I mean, it's why do that here? Nikki Foy also continues on, says, yeah, and I think too, there's an empathy element that I really love to think about. When I was a kid, I think there's been a lot of research about this, and I think, and people who were talking about it, but I think too, it's easy for young girls to empathize with male characters. It's something that we're always taught. And I think having this female character who everyone can love and see parts of themselves in is so exciting and fun too. Again, fun and exciting. They ain't going to sell the games. I'm sorry. That much has become blatantly obvious. And again, listen to and this is why I'm reading this. The people writing this game and developing this game, listen to how they're discussing the development of this game. They're trying to develop this for an audience that does not exist for Star Wars video games. Instead of, it's like, no, we know the guys love Star Wars and the guys are playing video games, and we want to make something that young girls can enjoy too with this game and find something connecting in these characters and blah, 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 blah. But we know we have to pay the bills here, right? That's what I want to see from people developing a $300+ million video game. Especially if I'm a freaking stockholder in Ubisoft, which God forbid if you are. But this should give this kind of thing should have given everybody cause for alarm. It's like, why are you allowing this to happen? It's all of these things like phases 4 and 5 of Marvel, basically all of Star Wars since Disney bought it. Freaking Rings of Power, my God!
It's better than House of Dragon right now. Have you seen the article?
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, right. There is this persistence out there to try to take successful pieces of business and then magically retool them for an audience that has no interest in the existing business. They're still not going to have an interest in it, and we just keep losing. I mean, collectively at this point, you put all these companies. We're talking about billions and billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars, tens of billions of dollars in lost shareholder value across a lot of these companies. Maybe 100 billion or more at this point, because of the woke mind virus.
That's the problem, is that you have people that are not customers and that are not lifelong fans.
Tourists.
Very much tourists of these particular properties, IPs, franchises, whatever you want to call them. And these people are the ones they're listening to. They're not listening to the people that are the diehards, because I guess they think that, oh yeah, those guys will always be here. Let's grow our franchise. Let's grow our fan base. But it's like, but they're really not going to come along with this anyway. They're here for the virtue signal. All right. They're here for the tweets, and they're here for the, hey, look what
social
happening
farming.
in Star Wars. Yeah, but they're not going to buy the product. You have to stop listening to these people because they don't care. They're not going to actually put their money towards it. They're not going to fill their house up with Star Wars merch. All right, that's just not going to happen. They're basically here to virtue signal to their buddies on Twitter or on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. That's it. That's all you're ever going to get out of these people. All of this stuff does not turn into hard, cold cash. All right. And that's what these studios and these companies need to understand. This stuff doesn't turn into money. Can you turn all of this stuff into money? The Acolyte just showed it. You can't turn it into money. Star Wars Outlaws is showing it. You cannot turn this into money. Why didn't you use Han Solo? Han Solo would have been better. Well, we decided to go with better. We decided to go with K-Vess because that would make the little girls see themselves. Okay, well, the little girls that would have seen themselves, they're not going to buy the game anyway. So why are we bothering with them? Like it doesn't make any sense.
That's just it. So we've set this up, right? Why did we do this? Why did we take this beautiful young lady and turn her into this in this video game? Well, guess what, guys? The answer is in the article. It's actually here. If you pick up on it. So here we go. Leaning into this idea that a lot of the time people will say being a woman is a weakness. We're emotional. We're not tough. We're not as strong as the male heroes. So did you need to find a balance with Kay in Star Wars Outlaws, both in writing and acting in terms of her femininity and her strength, or do you think that the femininity is the strength? That's the interviewer's question. Nikki Foy, the writer for the Star Wars Outlaws video game, has this to say. And here's our answer, kids.
I'm going to throw up.
Yeah, I don't know if we've thought about it in terms of that. I remember early on writing this huge document about the way in which female protagonists are different from male protagonists. And not in the way of worse or better, but to me that the point of view really infuses the how of things. Often the why is the same for characters. Like survival, for example, female characters are often shown surviving in a different way. Maybe a cool, charming female character, she's going to use her feminine wiles to get something done. Or she can pretend to be weak and whatever. And I made this list of things that I was like, I don't want Kay in the video game to ever do or ostensibly be any of these things. I don't want her to ever pretend to be weak. I don't want her ever to pretend to ever use her femaleness to get something. So that was always on our mind. But in terms of, how does she treat this or how does she approach the situation as a female character? Once we got who Kay was, it was much like, how does Kay approach this? And we created this character. So in other words, they didn't want her to be that attractive. They deliberately dumbed her looks down because, well, we don't want a female character that looks cute or something like this. Somebody that could, I don't, thinking about the message that you want to present for this character versus, bruh, this is a $300 million video game. You have to sell copies. You have to make money. And there is a very, very enormous amount of risk attached to this capital investment. This is the decision you made because reasons.
Can I jump in here quickly?
It's a weird statement, man.
I'm gonna jump in here quickly, okay? Because there's another game that came out just before Outlaws, okay? This is a free-to-play game. It's science fiction. It's horror. It's like Tim Burton mixed with like SCP and all stuff. It's called Once Human, and it has a character creator, right? And you can create your female however you want. You want like the big chest, the thighs, all the guys, all this stuff too, right? It has 10 million downvotes since it released, right? In like August 1st, okay? And you know the one thing no one is complaining about? This.
What's that?
Because none of this stuff is needed because you get to create your character. They tell us the story. We get to explore it in an open world and go wherever we want based off our level, and hopefully we can survive. And with this, they have detached themselves from a free-to-play game. I'm saying, like, because the free-to-play game, they don't even have they only have cosmetics. They don't charge you for balancing, for weapons, all this stuff. we have a free-to-play game here with 10 million downloads, and we have a AAA release right here who's really trying to dumb down the attractiveness of what a female aspires to be, not just accepting of oneself on the inside, but also being accepted by around her on the outside. And you can't even take that away. If I'm an outlaw or let's say a scruffy nerf herder, whether female or male version, I'm going to use my wiles to attract and try to get into certain things. Like that'd be a good way to get into the casino. That'd be a good way to rob and get intel, right? You have taken the whole aspect of what it's like to be a scoundrel, whether you're a male or female, and using either your male attractiveness or your female attractiveness, and threw out a whole mechanic of the game that we have seen in things like Skyrim, Fallout, and Mass Effect, everything else to like build a relationship. And you have said, I don't like people. Throw it away. And you make this. I just dropped my shot glass.
It's weird, man. Like these people denying reality. It's like, oh, I don't want to use the femaleness to get what it is that she wants to get. It's like, flip that around. Say, okay, I don't want to use my maleness. I don't want to use my male strength. I don't want to use whatever men use to get.
Make sure he doesn't have any muscles, DA. Strip the hero of muscles.
Yeah, we're not going to use
have muscles.
Make him look like Napoleon Dynamite's brother. You know,
think about
I don't
that.
Use his bipedal abilities. Take a leg away. Make him hobble.
Give him three fingers, and all of them be the middle one.
It's just ridiculous. Like, yeah, it's like they almost hate women. It's like they hate being women. It's like, why would you not
worship ugliness, Derek? That's what they do. They worship ugly.
Yeah, I don't understand it. If you're a beautiful woman or if you're a woman, period. You know, men and women are made differently. So, yeah, men use what men need to use in order to get what they need to get out of life, and women do the same exact thing. I don't see any problems with that. You know, we're made differently. We're not made to be the exact same. But I forget which of you guys said that. It might have been you, Pro. That's the mindset nowadays, that we're blurring the lines between the sexes. Oh, men are women, women are men. It's all the same. There's no reason to look at women or men any different. And that's one of the major issues, is that they're denying reality. It's going against the grain. And when somebody like myself looks at that, I'm like, I'm good. I don't want to rock with that, because that doesn't even look like something that I would enjoy.
Make sure you're subscribed to Valiant Renegade and join us every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern for the live show.